When I look at and touch a table, am I looking at with my eyes and touching with my hands the basis of designation upon which I designate table? As such, is the phenomenal world established conventionally as mere conceptual construct only within our mental consciousness? And do our sense consciousnesses only come into contact with the basis of designation upon which we have established the phenomenal world? And again, the dakshidang dakshigi kechayore di kasa jokse miki tana any lakbe rekpana di jokse di dakshi ta dakshi la lakbe rekpa dakshi at jokse krang
jokse rabare dashi rabare mari jokse la ribare mari jokse dashi ribare mari.
So when you touch a table, you touch the table, you're not touching the basis of designation of the table. Dini kasa phenomenal world.
Chitang, yeah, love
the jikten di tokpe taksam res tani tu tokpe taksam res and di tokpe takpati yiki namshe mato yomara yiki namshe di tokpe taksam di
toba yiki namshe jibo changma toba jamin reyo.
So no, okay, so the second part of this is, so the first part is, no, you touch the table, you don't touch, or you see the table, you touch the table, you don't touch the basis of designation of the table. And the second part is that the phenomenal world established conventionally by mere conceptual construct is it only... When you touch your so the way that we say that when we touch our body or some contact with our body, then we say I touch myself. Or if you say if your feet are you're walking down the road, you say I'm walking down the road, although it's your feet that are doing the walking. So that's the way we attach or apply designations onto things. Conventions. We apply conventions to things in that way. Di tokpe taksam di yiki namshi mato yomares. So there's forms of thought here, maybe thought that are not only occurring within the mental awareness, the mental consciousness. There are forms of this word. It's actually it translates as thought most commonly, but it could be also translated as like mental activity or mentation, the operation of mind. So, however, our perceptual awarenesses, there's no what is called this is where language, English, gets tied up. I'm going to just stick with thought for this word. There's no thought operating within our perceptual awareness.
Oh, yeah.
Wangshe, yeah. Perceptual awareness. 왕실을 똑바 영화래스.
왕시 도봐요 말이.
Wangshe, that perceptual awareness, that is like vision, smell, sense of smell, etc. These are not. These are perceptual forms of awareness, perception. So there's no thought involved in them. 이시마 똑바 칸에 요래스.
이 남시만 봐그 도봐 망보 연구로 와. 이 남시는做什么고로 와.
So the point here, it's technical, that Yiki Namshe, or the mental consciousness, so-called, is the primary mind there, is the primary mind. So one says that that thought operates in other facets or other dimensions of mental activity apart from that primary awareness, the mental awareness.
나야.
The Wangshi the Dakshila Rekpa Europesa.
왕시 다시를 와서나 그랬어 그래. 왕시 다시를 봤으나.
Dakshi the Samsu
다시라.
Dakshila.
왕시 다시 사람 왕시 유를 다시를 봤으나 그래 수이 다시. 왕시 유를 미르세야 돼 그래서나. 왕비시와기. 是吧？有的天天真把他没在，是本来都这个告诉看出来。没写给这些当旅行完有的，俺呢有年吧，旅了2年人家怎吧，人是那么的，然后是吧？旅行当这些有的有年吧怎吧，是吧？ 这些个说娘的讲了，说这一定的不让我吧？有些个人家准备讲了，人家留的了吧？他就是的，他等于每个写话的，那一写话，你真的养有马这把真吧？
이 닥시 계절요래.
닥시 쓰나?
닥시 똑배 닥선
똑배 닥선
타니 닥비 닥시. 타니 닥비 닥시.
때는 다시 가다 요걸 저거를 봤어요.
네.
그 수익도 다시. 수익 다시.
디
거에 맞서.
삼투디레 디 치직된디 치직된디 닥시레 아니
다시레
닥치 이기 남시마 더 요마레.
아니 닥치 치직된 거란 걸 들려 봐. 봐 닥치. 배나 가와지나 가와 다시체 아니 가와 기 다시 될 때네 동데 될 때네 아니 가와 스타르 와 다지 야 다지세 시와라 샤 다시체 유라 샤 말이
유라 샤
말이 대만 다시 다지 니그 유다 유현 강가려 와.
So no, this is okay. The question here, like the idea is here, is that our senses are like perceiving or coming into contact with the basis of designation, whereas the designation as such, that is, the designations as such are only some kind of mental thing. That's not what's going on at all. Rather, when one talks about a basis of designation, that means it's something which is suitable to be identified by the designation that we use to designate it. So, for example, if you take this, so for example, if you take the parts of this thing here collectively, then that collection of parts is suitable. It's a basis of designation for the term pillar. That convention, we use that convention pillar to name that kind of thing, and so it's a suitable basis of designation for that name pillar, or that convention pillar. And same thing with like a pot. The pot is a collection of particles, of material particles, and that collection of material particles is a basis of designation for the term pot. And so we use that convention in English, pot, to identify that kind of thing. So things being bases of designation or being identities, or that is the designated properties, the thing which is designated to them, that you find sort of like throughout the entire universe, in effect. The whole world is sort of covered by that.
다 노사 데 노르 마르동 땅게도 수리에서나 안에 도저고 똑바들어. 도저고 똑바들어. 땅게.
So the issue where one where it gets there's the confusion can arise is where we ask, like, who is it or what is it that's doing the designating, and there then it's the so it's the thought which is making the designation. That is, thought is designating things using those conventions or names to identify them in that way. What the doctor? The doctor. Doctor is like property that's designated or.
다시스나 다시 될라 답이 쳐들라 다시스고 되네. 그래서 다시 풍부 초발라 때네 답이 쳐대 가려서는 아들와.
So like so like for example, the term that's being used here is the designated property. Literally, it's using the word dharma, but this is used in a technical sense of property here. And that so the designated property would be like if you have the collection of the aggregates, then you designate that as an I. You call it an I if it's yours. And then, so that's, the I there is the designated property, which is designated upon that valid basis of designation.
No.
No, doctor. No. Sanskrit, dharma.
근데 최세 간데 주고를 인지라. 최세.
좀tom을 최선아 상기기 치료와.
그 말이다.
말해.
그 말이 세상에 정말한테 놀아서. 산재 최 말이다. 최세나 예점나. 랑공 오tim 봐.
So here the word dharma has multiple meanings, like in the dharma of the Buddhas, the teaching or the the whole thing of the Buddha's teaching. But here, this is the word dharma also means just anything that bears, literally bears its own existence, an existing thing, or we often translate that as phenomenon here. So I'm using the word property to translate this, but it's designated phenomenon is also there's problems with that. So I'm just going to stick with property. It has that meaning. So then, Mikyu Kari, I mean, what's the question about the observed object here? Then Bombay kasa Bombay sokpala Bomba takna. Then Mikyu Karesa. Mikyu.
Pumju Dobala, Pumbanana.
Bombay cha tamchi tsokpa yoroa. Di la Bombay Ming takna. Then Mikyu Karesa.
Mikyu Kareri.
Mikyu.
그래서 미유 가르레스는 그래서 당gen기 가서 똑바지기 유 가르레스 그래. 뭐 자자 초발할 때는 다비 나나 당gen디 유디 똑바지 유 가르레스 그래. 그래서 그래.
Mikul.
미유 찾아 미유 가르레스.
Biu, right.
시 똑바지기.
Yeah.
미유.
Who the observed object the observed object of what? No, of you're talking about like here you have thought is identifying this collection of things as the pot, calling it the name pot, or using that identifying it as a pot. So the question is, what is the
분비 차샤 초발할 때나 분바서 따나 아니 가세 미유 가르레스 아니 가르스 그랬지 와 야고 또배 따나 또바티기 미유 가르레스나 아니 분바리
뭔가 그러네.
또바티 분주 또바티기 미유디 분바리 이 분바오 님의 집에 또바티 분비 차샤 초발할 때네 분바시 따위 또바티기 미유디 가르레스나 아니 분바
이 분비 닥시 말에 미큐 똑바디 미큐
또바티 미유 간서 분바들이
분바디래.
분바
이 분비 차
이 다시데 분비 차샤 초발을 와 초바들이 와 미 또바티 그 미유디 분바들이 또
뭔가 그랑 디 그사 닥시 말에
분바 시 다시 말해 또바티 다시 말했으면
말에
나
디 미큐 디 그사 미키 토나 디 닥시 토나
다시 그 말에 미기 품질 또바티 가르레서나 분비 다시 초발할 때네 따위 분바티 통과하러 와 와.
디 okay, I'm trying to get this. Bomba di chi tsam을 배. bomba di chi tsam을 배. chi.
분바 찌산 봤으나 그 분바 호랑 통어라 분바 찌산 봤으나
말. Now we're all getting all tied up here in the language. Okay, what Rinpoche said is that when thought identifies the collection of the parts of the pot, which is the basis of designating something as a pot, as the pot, then the object that it's observing, that thought is observing there is pot, is pot.
But does the designation of the object as pot and the observation of that which was designated occur simultaneously?
I don't understand that.
Okay, pot is designated. It is imputed upon a basis. Is the observation of that which has been designated, observation say through a visual consciousness, does that observation of that which is designated, which has been designated, occur simultaneously with the designation of the object, the mental designation of the object?
Okay. Okay. 배차샤나 디 그사 미키 bomba직 토나? 되니 왕셰 기그래. 왕셰 걸와.
미기 분바 통이 제와디 미셰데 왕셰레
왕셰레.
디 왕셰 되기 때는 디 분바오 냐면 증가데 똑바리
똑바래. 되니 왕셰 그사 왕셰당 똑바디 두냠 요르베사.
어더니 똑바 되나지가 말이야 분바디 왕셰 그 분바 통에 아니 디 제마다도 똑바데 되.
So the way it works is like, okay, you see a pot, the thing, and then based on that observation, their visual perception of that thing, then thought apprehends it by thinking that this is a pot. So it has that, there's an, and that, so it's the perception of the object, the visual perception of the object is the immediately preceding condition for the arising of that thought, which thinks this is a pot.
그냥 왕시의 분바 통이 제수 왕시의 매나양 분바 통이 왕시의 매나양 응아리지 안에 분바 되기 전진나요 권에 분수도 받지고.
Then subsequent to that, once you've seen something, you know it's a pot. You've seen a pot, you know it. You've identified it as a pot. Then subsequently, it can happen that you can have the idea of pot without any visual perception of the actual thing, and then one is seeing is basically. Then one is basically having the thought that is a pot, or having the thought of pot through the concept appearing to you.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Does that clarify the question, or?
Yeah.
Another one. Please clarify what is meant by linguistic convention in the phrase phenomena are merely established by linguistic convention. There's long discussion here about the whether or not animals have language. We'll just assume, for the sake of argument, that animals do not have language. We'll just make that a given, even though there's some debate about that among scientists. It probably doesn't matter for this issue here. If animals do not have language, then how do animals establish phenomena? Does linguistic convention mean something other than the sophisticated human ability to form and speak words and names and apply them to phenomena? Mingi taniki wangi shakpa, mingi taniti karayoresa, karesana di dundro yoroba, dundro simchin, dundro la minangshin kecha yomarabes, control kecha yomarabes. Chetan control mingi taniki wangi shakpa yorabesa. Any
ongura tonjola tonjoki ane tsa saya ke tsa tonje korang ke tsa di tsa wo nyam sa chi tsa di tsa xiewa ke ming de da yo ma de de是吧 베나 벽에 자디가라 벽에 대 인식이 고구 말에 대 그 인식이 명대제 디디오 냐부터 받지기도 와.是吧 어떤 날씨 전도라야 강한 사주 자대라 자인념도 요 말은 디 사주지 인념하고 또 받지 요라 봐. 그런 디디 통화.是吧 네가 그런 계지가 아마 인념 봐. 네 온거와 띵가 사야가 통화인 띵에 투구 인념 봐. 전도라 용거리 가나 강이나 집과 직장 온거.
이든 좀 민기타니.
타냐디요 말해 봐. 미 타냐디요 말해. 벽에 그 타냐 아리래요 말해. 벽에 그 타니다 아리래요 말해. 미 타냐 전도래요 말해.
예, 그사 저 탐제 타니기 왕기 샥바레.
어제 또배 왕기 샤.
또배 왕 타니기 왕기.
타냐서 또배가 왕기 샤라.
또배 왕기 샥. 이 타니라 릭니요.
타냐니 용거 지단 다당 또빠니 용거지.
So here the issue is now language is specific to specific cultures. For example, when somebody is speaking English and somebody doesn't know, like a Tibetan who doesn't know English, then it's just sound. It doesn't have any meaning for them. It's meaningless. So likewise, the opposite is the case. If someone is speaking Tibetan and you don't know Tibetan, then it's just sort of words, or it's not words actually. It's just kind of sound. So it doesn't communicate any meaning. So the thing is, the term that is being translated as convention here has there are two types of it. There are the conventions of language, linguistic conventions, or conventions of names and so forth. that are specific to particular languages. But then there's also the conceptual conventions or the conventions of thought. And in this latter case, conventions of thought applies even in the case of animals. So animals, even though they don't have sophisticated language the way humans do, they know that this is my child, so they're protecting it. Or they know this is food, this grass is good to eat, so they go to that grass and they eat it. So they have these conceptual conventions, one might say, or the conventions that are produced by thought, even though they don't have linguistic language conventions.
Oh yeah, that is right.
Yes.
Oh yeah. That is the some large kind. The Thoman Gila Jeba, the Jen Yang Sulu with Tsunami, Shewa Denasi. That Castle, Kondu Shebagi, and in the da, Chesumbu the da, Thoman Gila Jeba. Roa, Thomas Castle Lord Chang, and it Gila J. And then Gila Jen, Comba Corner, Ponyam Yamsulim be Sudamni. That's loving Ginarasu and Ashire, somebody, Jen and Yamsulim be Tsunami. Giavara shed and a Jerimbuchin Zebi, Jobachilla Chilla Labatang, Jobachilla Lava, Segana, and a Jibi Dan Semje, and a Jobachindula Lavatella, Jobachilla Lava, and a Pajin Tamanila Lava, sometimes Pajina Lava, that and so La Richa Moda, La Richa Judula, Shiva Chawo, and the Shaman.
Then the next line in the commentary says that with respect to these subjects mentioned above, the great compassion, the bodhicitta, the great compassion, and the non-dual, the gnosis, which knows things free of the two extremes. First, in order to understand how to train oneself in them, that is, first of all, how one initially develops them through study and so forth. That is, you train yourself so as to understand them and then to develop understanding of them. And then once you've developed them with understanding of them, then you actually generate them within your mind or within your stream of being, your continuum. And then once you have given rise to them in that way, you ought to one should practice them. The way in which this is done, if you wish to understand this in more extensively, then one should understand these topics the way they're explained by Je Rinpoche himself, Je Tsongkhapa himself, in his works, in which he explains the general practices. General practices here refers to the development of bodhicitta, etc., and then the practices that are based upon them, the perfections, first 4 perfections of generosity and so forth, and then the final 2 perfections of meditative concentration and wisdom. So these are explained extensively in the great stages of the path to awakening, the intermediate stages of the path to awakening, and so forth, these Lamrim explanations.
Oh, yeah. Taniwa, Tansoni Drubidu, Jumden de Anukula, Tansum just any the best of what you are in Zang. That chanted out any Bidu Carre, Tani, or in Marsha de la. Any Nyamba Guadan, Shabang Ni Chavigana. That Nyamba Gua de la, Yawichambo Jajin, Tanisum just Aniki. Sigana, Chita Chugu Janjuba, Chita Tedabaki, Samba Zersi. Yawo Chambo, Sina, and the Jawo of my penny, the Jawo de Sambola penny. Do Chambo Niji, Ane Gula, Tansum Niji, Chita, Chujuku Jamber Chua, Tank Judang. Debutang, 就全部接近这产的数据涨的几，其他的确就过290个，安尼产就主当，这部产当，军队的这话他300最起，现在其他秋国研究把这部他把它300最，那这里是吧？这产生产的考虑就叫我。 안에 랑자 안에 산제 오콜이 주 자원이야 챔비 진디 바예 안에 랑 산제라야 챔비 진디 바예 림바 망보 안에 산제라 챔비 초투 주와요 다 된제 요와 인장 다 된다 콜이 주 자원 인장 리송구 이지와 최주꿀 잼바 주와 천지 주당 대부 찬당 윤재지 저와다 300제시
So the next verse explains the way in which one develops the causes for having these signs of the major marks of a Buddha. So there's 32 of these major marks of a Buddha, and there's an instruction on how to train oneself so as to produce the causes for developing these major marks of a Buddha. And this has two parts. First, there's a exhortation to listen to this instruction, and then the actual instruction itself. So the exhortation to listen to the instruction is given in verse 75, and that says, O great king, listen now to the way that your body will be adorned with 32 distinctive marks that indicate a great being or a great person. And the commentary here explains this verse saying, O great king, this is addressed to, again, the great ruler Dechut Sangpo, to whom the precious Garland was sent or addressed. And it says that the 32 signs of a great person, how your body would become adorned with these 32 great marks of a person. In order to understand that, I'm going to instruct you on the causes of these major marks, the resultant signs themselves, as well as the relationship between the causes of these major marks and the results themselves. And so you should listen to this in the way that it's going to be explained. Here, these major marks, actually, one finds these characteristics or major marks on these three types of persons. That is, universal emperors have them to some extent. Then likewise, Pratyeka Buddhas also have them, and then Buddhas themselves have them to the highest degree.
Oh yeah, that's about what it is. And the Sanje Gudung Nimbo Jandang. And the Sanje Chinji Lawatang. And the Gabuji or Gabo Gavele. And the Sabi Chitang. And the Dibilan Bangwa Chevi Chi. And the Sanje Jumden Nila Chedan Yang. Chedan Shi Gula Chedan Shi Obajuguares. Chedan Shi Obajua the Carrasana. And the Chebedan Cheja Keba the Papa Suina. Rawa Ji Juma Dan Che I the Chedan Mendoza Chebidan Chebedan Cheja Papa. Or that tend to be just Sayatela.
So first is, and then the next verse and the next section enters into the actual explanation of the causes and so forth of the major marks of a great person. And here there's a quotation which says that, or it starts off by saying that what is it's called chutin in Tibetan, chaitya in Sanskrit. This means an object of veneration. It's given that appellation, that name of chaitya, which literally should translate as like an object of veneration. So for example, a stupa, which contains at its heart.
이 최대한세 수도가 이제 말이야.
stupa, kundungi 뭐
최비된
이 kundungi.
구동산 산재고 구동도 샤쇼고 있지. 이제 봐체.
So here then, we shouldn't take the word chaitya or chutin here in the sense of the stupa, for example, although the same word is used to indicate the stupas, the external monuments. Here, it's said here that this word chaitya, which means object of veneration, is applied to the Bhagavan himself. Bhagavan is usually translated as Lord, like Lord Buddha, for example, Buddha Bhagavan, or Lord Buddha. And so the Buddha, Lord Bhagavan Buddha himself, is a object of veneration. And the reason it's given here is that it's that the Lord Buddha has within himself sort of the bodily remains literally 구둥기님 보친스나 구둥기님 보친
구동 산재고 구동 산재고
산기 쿵
풍부 산재고 풍.
So here this there's a line that says the essential bodily like the actual physical body of the Buddha is called a chaitya or object of veneration, the actual body of a Buddha. And then next it says that which is something which is blessed or empowered by Buddhas is also something which is worthy of worship, an object of veneration, or a chaitya or chutin. And then it's said that the Buddha Bhagavan himself, the Lord Buddha himself, in order to accumulate virtuous dharmas, virtuous qualities, one could say, and then in order to get rid of non-virtuous or negative kinds of karma, then the Buddha, Lord Buddha himself, is given the name of object of veneration.
Oh yeah, that should be danced. This one, and 최대한 최저 파파 최저지 아니 대대송도 아니 가랍단이 내고에 차샤 콜로 반대 차샤 콜로 네 차샤 비찬 아니 어디 영향이 두카르에서나 가랍단이 내고 반대 차샤 콜로에 챔비 콜로 좋아 줄 세대게 다야게 산재응을 송비 응을 가세 산재응을 송비 최대한 산재응을 송비 최대한 산재응을 송비 최대한 세르가나 산재 그 구동을 산재라지 최배된 산재 최대한 만들어 산도 산재 구동을 최배된 구동당 咸阳缺价 파마당, 캠부당, 다 산재응을 쳐봐 뭐, 아니 산재 그 구동을 쳐봐, 是吧? 咸阳쳐봐 쳐봐 파마당, 캠부당, 러변당, 네바소당, 아니 파베 군둔당, 개람남니 nemla lebar kurbe, 现际实际民意比实际去发展点吧。 다 되기 대다기 꾸바기 배와 대다그 꾸비 아니 제부텔라 카르레사나 현지 시기 민입이 시시기 빠단데 봐 아니 차섭기 티라 집동 대와 무지 집동 안에 콜리 대와다 무지 조비 아니 콜로이 따지 챔베 아니 콜리 두바 줄라 차자 콜리 찬안 담바이
So then here it says, so that as it said in that the lines above, that the Buddha Bhagavan, or Lord Buddha, and the actual physical body of such a Buddha, of the Lord Buddha, is the superior object of veneration, or thing which is to be worshipped. Something, Chutin could mean like an object to be worshipped as well, or object of veneration. And then the first three lines of the next verse, verse 76 says here, what does it say? Okay. Due to honoring Chaitya, an object of veneration, and those who are worthy, the superiors, or this translates Aryas here, and also elders. It says the elders, but I don't think it needs a capitalization there. Your glorious hands and feet will be wheel marked, showing that you shall turn the wheel. Or actually, one could say that showing that you will become a universal, you will be a universal emperor. So the verse here says that by properly serving and revering those who are elderly, the elder persons, and by revering properly the Buddha and so forth, then one will achieve this first mark of a superior person, which is the special kind of signs of wheels that will mark your hands and your feet. So the example here says that if one properly serves and respects the object of veneration, such as an actual Buddha, or also the other the other persons who are to be worshipped and venerated, such as your parents, your ordaining abbot, your teacher, your master who teaches you things, or people who are ill, that is sick people, serving them, and then also properly serving the Arya Sangha, that is the Sangha that are Sangha of Aryas, those who have realized the nature of reality, and then also properly serving elders. Then one will come to possess a kind of splendor of glory, or glorious splendor, that will outshine that of anyone else. And one's hands and feet, at the palms of your hands and in the center of the bottom of your feet, you will be marked by wheels which are have 1,000 spokes, an outer rim and a hub at the center marked, and in that way one will become marked. You will be. That indicates that you have the sign of someone who is a universal emperor.
아니 규태다 주발라 때네 아니 현지 수지 미니비 아니 시지지 바단 담바 아니 차샤가 타나 아니 된다 지원을 콜로이 따지 참비 아니 콜로이 주에 겨울주야.
So you will become a universal emperor, marked with these signs. That is, on the one hand, your splendor will outshine that of everyone else in the world. And then likewise, your hands and feet will be marked by these signs of these 1,000-spoked wheels as indications that you are a universal emperor. So the practices that were discussed above are the causes, and then this is one of the effects that comes out of these practices, this kind of marking.
주제기 주대달라 때네 아니 마음바나 콜리주 자원지기나 아니 채나 담바 연구 현장 뭐 말로 아니 취지구래 gem벌 추와 콜리지 겨울 추 아니 겨울 제디 아니 채한다 담벌 주와기 아니 주 칸데 주 테라 때네 채한 카레 연구래 두사고 하라
주기구.
뭐 바네
뭐
그거 콜리지 겨울 제디 담바 줄디 담바 아니 채한다 담바 연구 하라
So yes, this is then showing that if you perform the practices that have been described above, and you engage in that kind of practice, then one of the results that will arise out of that is being born in the future. You'll be born as a universal emperor and have this kind of sign. And the other signs that are listed below, marking your body, showing your sovereignty over the entire world.
오차차 콜리 찬당 리베샵 제와레 담보데 차차 콜리 참바데체 나 리베샵 세데 자오치라 다바니 양다람바 땜바제 테니 신도 샴네비 창주삼바 주알라 세기 아니다 자오치지 아니 담배치 나양데 랑 냠수랑자 그쳐라 와 냠수랑자 그쳐라 다바니 아니 냠수랑바 냠슬 랑비 쳐 랑기 치다 캐 랑밤 아니 일라 탐자와 양다바 랑와데 아니 땜바제지 로다 캐 랑비 아니 야랑기 냠술레 치다 랑바 랑진 아니 땜바제지我天这位娘说浪把的蛋把的切比这不天了，俺那菜泥哇，天你刚的啦，刚的啥了，娘把跑完是吧？日本哪些送过来的？日本给绿他们些啥了跑完哪些钱呢？温度见了，下考虑参到日本下送过来的，因着刚的啥了，娘把跑吧，新都下面那位，前就想把就啊拉呗。인장 체니와 영하고 두라 라고그래
So then the next sign of being a universal emperor is explained in verse 77, where it says, showing the cause and the result, King, always be steadfast in your commitments. I'm sorry, going back to the previous one, the honoring those who are worthy, as described in the previous verse, is the cause for having those wheels marked on your hands and feet, which are the primary or one of the primary indications or signs of being a universal emperor. And then the second one is having level and even feet, and that's given in the second verse, or verse 77, where it says, "O king, always be steadfast in your commitments concerning the Dharma. That way you will become a bodhisattva who has level and even feet." So this commentary says the same thing, that O king, you should you should always be steadfast in taking up and practicing the Dharma that you have practiced to observe, and constantly do that. And by means of that, your feet, the bottoms of your feet, will always be level on the earth, and you will become a bodhisattva who has that kind of station, or that the gendi shindu nepe shindu shap nepe changchu simba shindu shap nepe changchu.
말이다 신도 샵라 내위에서 가서를 된다 샵지 티지 차샤 콜리 찬당 루베 샵마 내미 신도 샵 내베기 chanchu sabal 주와.
So you'll be a steadfast. Like the example it's given is, it's like a turtle. When the turtle has like a flat bottom on its shell, and when it goes on the ground, it's always on a sort of level, even keel. So that's the analogy here for having these flat, even feet that one proceeds with.
Oh yeah, 차차 콜리찬다 주바 샵. 我都讲都晓得，但是呢， 진단년배 식단이 편단 전주 제바이 반대 차소 차와이 대비 차례 전도 줄 세들이 다 가산 그니 시원나 신신이 두용오시 코와 진바다 아니 년비 증마와 아니 현라 아니 편바 현라 편바다 아니 가서 이와 지된 전주 두비 전화제 세그 안에 두용오 시워대 어디 대두가 진단년 비치다니 년 진단년 비치다니 편다 전주 줘봐 이 진바당 년바마비 치당 현라 편바당 전주 줘봐 진 아니 강 현라 편바 차바대 랑게 줘봐 가서 임바 어디 두아시 아니 두아시 바당 차기 소모 대장 안비 차와다 제와 아니 차례전도 줘야 돼 아니 디 누와시 가서 누와시 줘봐라 때나 두시를 때나 중하래.
So then the next sign is given in the following verse. This is verse 78 in this translation here. Through generosity and gentle speech, by acting beneficently and consistently, you will have hands with lines joined by glorious finger webs. So this here, the four things that are listed are generosity, speaking in a agreeable or proper fashion, being beneficial, and here the third one there is like advocating to others that they act in a way which will be beneficial to them. And then the fourth one here is acting in accordance with that kind of advice that you're giving to others. So these four are the four that we've discussed previously in terms of the four means of attracting others to oneself in those four different ways. So by means of that, then one's hands and specifically one's fingers will be glorious, and like the king of geese. It says, like the king of geese, one's hands will be marked by the design of like webs that connect the parts of your fingers, or the different fingers.
Oh yeah. 이래서 내가 가을에서 나 사와도 동화서 주지로 와.
사와당.
어제 차례전에 좋아. 나 뒤제라 어디다 사와탄이 두외제 라도 만보 진바이 반대 차당 샴년신 라 샴년신 제대가 찬대가 차차 콜을 찬나 루베다 루베샵 샤니 샤야 잠시 샤샤차 디부비 고둠 타고 이제 세대인 바리 라자 온도 제라 사와당 두위 초 라도 만보 아니 샹라 진바 이 아니 반대 차다샵 니신 잠라 아니 샤샤차와다 아니 구체신 차샵지 잡시당 차비 아니 초 타고 이당 차바가 타고나 따비 초 뒤양 아니 샤이 킹배 토르 주바 또 차차 콜리 찬나르 바 차니 샵차 잠시 샤샤차 디 분비 고둠 타고 이제 다디 말에
So then the next sign here is given in the second half of in verse 79, and it says, through abundantly giving the best food and drink, your glorious hands and feet will be soft, and you will have a large body with 7 broadly curving parts. All of these marks and sign, these major marks, are actually enumerated and explained in the ornament for the Mahayana Sutras as well. It covers the same list. So here it says that by engaging in a great deal of offerings to others of food and the best kind of food and drink, then your hands, and here it says hands and feet, actually will be supple and soft. And then the area in your back will be well fleshed out. Your body will be large. The backs of your hands and feet, as well as the portions of your shoulder blades and the area between your shoulder blades, and then the base of your neck as well. There's 7 different parts of the body: the hands, feet, 2 of each, the 2 shoulders, and then the nape of the neck together. All of those 7 will be well fleshed and prominent, and that's another sign of someone being a universal emperor.
Oh yeah, that DJ啦，吃没塞把他的钱呗，估计长心吃完的，吃人什么人完的，顶把样把他的去入是，我的呢，刚才等，我都简单了，下面小姐不行，这去下面讲，你公平活动他过钱，什么人样，顶样，什么人样顶样过吃汤，谁干了？啊你吃完没吧？让给吃完没吧？先，啊你刚说的三吧，啊你烧套了钱吧了，烧脚吧套了钱吧啦，啊你顾责心，啊你顾责话当，啊你长心吃完这先了吃完没吧当，三吧脚吧套了钱呗，是一个吃没三吧套钱呗，啊你当然都比顾责话当。长心这个也要没把长心吃完当，俺那估计人不当，什么人不当，写不起西家，俺你把气的怕呗，顶把羊把他都抓，现在我这个什么人呀，顶样估计讲，我这写不起把顶把羊把这都一般的，
So actually, I said in the previous section that it was from the Mahayana Sutra Alamkara, or the ornament for the Mahayana Sutras. It's actually from the Abhisamaya Alamkara, the ornament for the realizations. Mistranslated that. So then the next verse shows the additional marks. This is verse 80, where it says, "Through renouncing violence and freeing those to be killed, your body will be beautiful, straight, and tall. You will have a long life. The digits of your fingers, etc., will be long, and your heels will be broad." So the commentary explains that in the same way, that by abandoning harmfulness to others, by liberating those who are in danger of being killed. This refers to like an animal or a person who is, someone has decided that they're going to kill it, or the person, and then you are able to liberate them from that death. Then that's this cause. Will produce for you a beautiful body which is attractive whenever others see it, and by avoiding any kind of crookedness, your body will be straight and large, and you'll have long life. Here, crookedness is referring to like being deceptive, then likewise you'll have long fingers, and the portion of your feet, which in the back, will be elevated so that you have like broad heels as well.
我讲，他今天提前了，刚说的，龙不明的不你前途错，现在俺们我都讲了，送把那新鲜的，杨大郎被全南街百万没到。 半点多伤心，写不起龙不明白的，他不前途挑战去是有，让给杨大把郎被吃，他东把郎说吧，是吧？前去是被东把，俺说他就东把郎说，俺那杨大把郎被吃起吃点那，东把东被吃吧给，杨大把郎把给吃起吃点那，百万，吃起吃点那。 俺那县了百万，俺那多半点多把他半点多伤心， 아니 샵지 롬부 명어 봐 아니 바부 캔도 레레네 바부 예수 아니 초바게 참바 좋아.
Then verse 81 says, through enhancing, or one could say promoting the practices that you have undertaken, you will be glorious, you will have good color, your ankles will not be prominent, and you will be marked with body hairs that curl upward. So the same thing is said in the commentary, that the dharma which you have taken up properly, and the subjects that are found within that, or the principles that are found within that dharma. This is referring, for example, to the vows that one has taken. If you've taken the vows of individual liberation or the bodhisattva vows, then you properly taken them up. Then, if you by increasing them, here this refers to developing them yourself and teaching them to others, causing others to engage in them. Then you'll have a splendid color, and your ankles will not stick out, will not be prominent. The hairs of your body, each of them will go upwards and will curve towards the right. And so this is another. These are other signs that of a universal emperor.
Oh yeah, that is 가서 뭐 먹으면 가서 뭐 침바 인나연 침바 인자연 인나연이 있어야 돼 뒤말에 리다서라 소위네 그외nen단 진배취 인나야이 침바당 이노셔럽 침보 줄어야 되게 아니 리다서라 소위네 세자리비 내가 세자리비 내 리바당 소라 소위네 아니 랑기 로비 투수 양 아니 귀외 아니 렘바당 랑기 강 시바다다 현라 양 진배 아니 취지 침바 아니 차신 아니 림지 쇼와 아리다 에나이 침바당 잡아 침바 상외 아니 이 가서 시럽 놓으면 이 놓아 아니 남지지 시럽 첨부 주와
Then verse 82 gives additional marks showing the causes that give rise to them and the effects. By both learning and imparting with respect the sciences, crafts, and other fields of knowledge, you will have the calves of an antelope and be quick-witted with great wisdom. So here the scientific subjects refers to there's 5 of them, and then there's the other kinds of crafts, such as the skill in manufacturing things and so forth. And then, so it says here, with respect to those, if you should have respect when you're studying these, learning them yourself. And then likewise, when you're giving them to others, you should do so in a respectful fashion. And then by doing that, the calves of your legs will taper, be regular, similar to those of there's a species of antelope called Enyaya. So it'll be, your calves will be like that. And then by having a good memory, in that way, your mind will be sharp, and then you'll also have a great discriminating wisdom.
Oh yeah, 침바 이나야니 차ring 제 세다 차ring 제 세더라. 랑게 노도 랑주나 뉴도 다유 두슈지 차게 대단 지된지 넘버 점바 니도 지르 세가라 랑게 노도바 랑게 노도밤 아니 랑라 여비 랑게 랑라 여바게 노스킨지레 노도바이 도바서 여발체 현지 랑바 추나양 랑게 노데 랑라 여비 노데 현지 랑바 추나양 뉴도 당위 이담당 당 추나 뉴도 당위 이담다 현라 지금 현라 땅에 이담당 제위 두슈지 아니 차 계신人와 두 니들 땅와기 아니 이담지 니들 땅 가서 니들 땅에 이담 제위 두슈지 아니 되게 안에 대부대라 차 계신 차人人신 계와탕 차 계신 人와다贵所多대와탕 지den지 넘버 점바 지den지 넘버 점바 니도 주와 어떻게
GT기 넘버 점바.
지대바 넘버 점바스나 다 가서래 남대에서 코알라 점바 니도 주와
좀
지den지 넘버 점바 니도 쉬라 메데비 동안에 안에 점바 대화 점바 니도 주와 다 되는 지den지 점바지 남대에서 되는 시거라.
So then the next one explains further the causes and effects of that produce the great marks of a great person. And this is verse 83, where it says, through the avowed practice of quickly giving your wealth to others at the request of others, your arms will be broad and facile, or one could say supple there, or soft, and you will be a leader of the world. So the commentary here explains that by taking your own possessions, the possessions that you yourself have, your wealth, and when others would need it, and if you quickly give that to them, so that kind of willingness and quickness to give your own property to others, if you take that as a religious observance that you have vowed to perform, then your hands will be broad and long, and your body will have a beautiful kind of luster to it. It'll be have beauty, and then you'll also become a leader of the world. That is leading the world into virtue, into welfare and benefit.
Oh yeah, that didn't. Don't you bawa busu nubi chok say na si chani. 年些偏见，他妈当年当，大把些啥子老少你这把的，年些偏见，俺那怕看差话的切话他，养大把东把切把意思年些偏见切话的养大对把切话意思，年些偏见切话的养大把东把切别意，切把意，啷不切当，大江些当，啷不知道大江些哪些。
So then verse 84 says, through seeing to the reconciliation of friends and relatives who have fallen out, you will be a noble or holy person with secret organ retracted into the abdomen. So this says the same thing in the commentary, that when friends or relatives have become divided against each other, if you're able to reconcile them, bring them back together, then like an elephant or like a special horse, then one's organ will be retracted back up into one's abdomen, and one will be a noble person with that kind of sign.
Oh, that in Kasantani, Dingwata, Deshin Sama Rab Chimbe, send you so much Chimebe, Shindu Jabi, and Doctor Churu, Sigana, Ani Kasore, Chibudi. Oh, Donny Baba, Bobusum, Papa says you daughter, Papa son to Papa Sabatang, say Papa says you daughter, say, Digi, Kasantani, Dingwatang, Sigana. Kansantani, ane Dingwatang, Deshin Sangwa, Kansantan, Dingwatang, Dingwata, Dewatang, or Tela Lonjan and Dewat, Deshin, ane Sangwa Rabdu, only Shana Jimbe, ane Seni Zoma Dabu, Setsoma Timameba, Chito Leva Chawa Shindu, ane Jambi daughter Wachua, Sieva, Papa Santo, Papa Jamba Tang. The verse 85 says,
by giving pleasant and excellent palatial dwellings adorned with carpets. Your skin will have a gentle hue like refined, untarnished gold. That's the way it's translated here. So it says in the commentary here that by being extremely generous in providing others with mansions as well as excellent kinds of carpets, by giving those, then your skin will be extremely soft and have a color which is like that of refined gold, without any kind of impurities within it, and very nicely burnished. So your skin will have that kind of color.
Oh yeah, there is one daughter chua. Lana maybe one chin. Oh, Lana maybe one chin. Riba lame jesu be. 半天跑步伢人当，像你嘴不见把手，你不你人那样连出去，下嘴蹦见，下嘴蹦见，下嘴不见，是的。看说那没不往清醒，是的，假设了说话，假如假设了说话，那没把给往的，俺的想了金巴当，日把的那没个性都结束就吧。 차와 르바 라메 가시도 제수 조배 아니 반데 바비 공부 레레네 니라서와 미제바 바부 냐레레다 아니 샤지 민잠 제비견바 샤지 민잠라 제비견바 제비견바 좋아.
Then verse 86 says, through giving unexcelled authority and properly following your guru, your resplendent body hairs will grow one by one, and your face, or really it's the place between your eyes, above your eyes, will be adorned with the forehead curl. So here says like there's the giving of unexcelled authority refers to giving away your kingdom and so forth. That kind of giving of unexcelled power to others. And then properly following the instructions that your guru has given to you, your lama or guru has given to you. By following those instructions, then you'll have the kind of splendor in which each of the hairs of your body will be individual, that not such that there's not like two coming out of a single hair follicle. And so they'll be individual in that way, and then upon your face, at the point on your forehead between your eyebrows, there'll be a special kind of curl of hair that ornaments your face.
년신 가와를 매바당 레버를 매다 튀체배 와 아니 괜히 봉고도 바다로데 생기 잡아채 샤체 봉도 모르데 생기다 세치바이 바다 퇴외 퇴수 라수랍지 퇴외 퇴수 년신 삼비 퇴수양 아니 가와를 매바당 강한 삼비 퇴도 가와를 매바당 现在俺那人了，浪多几年了，说话礼拜买瓦汤，吞把的钱呗，俺那吞把钱呗，给外这不得了，去蹦过炖把汤，俺那说对节性配吃了，配个吃了，俺生给咱找啊去吧。
Then verse 87 says, by and here it says speaking, but I think it should be listening properly. By listening properly and speaking pleasingly and acting in accord with that which is well spoken, your shoulders will be well rounded, and you will have a upper body which is similar to a lion. So at the time when you're listening, you should listen properly, and when you're reflecting upon things, at the time of reflecting upon things, you should speak in an agreeable, with joy. La di tube du su nyenshing, sampe du gawa mawa,
가와 매와다
gawa meba.
아니 현지 레바 매와 현지 레바 랑도진나 레바 매와다 툼바 체베 시다 담바나시 툼바 체비 아니 데불라 무구dom바다 로데자와
So then, and when others have properly said things, one should act in accordance with that which the others have properly said. If you do that, then the outer part of your shoulders will be round. The upper part of your body will be broad and expanded, similar to that of a lion.
네 가서르다 내가 남라 리조바탕 쇠외 타공 제와탕 당이 나도 내와다 로조와이 쇼트 주루 스타디 바라데 가려고 예 다는야 간자로 딜라로 미신바 로조나 세진사르 디특지하면서 뭐도 있잖아 내가 남라 림조다 쇠외 타공 제와탕 세가라 내가 남라 아니 나요탕 아니 감면지마라 소바 림조세 내가 남라 림조다 나요라 소바 체데 아니 쇠외 내 쇠외 bungo 편준지 인지 발을 아니 셰 강배 타공 제와 어디서 답지 트트 담아요 타공 제와당 태주 매바 땜바 제바스 추바 매바 파주 주와 매바 차라 주와 매바 땜배 나니도 내와당 내발라 맨심배 아니 소남지 로트위 초도 주와 로트위 로시미심바 로미심바지 이나양 로미심바 로초도 좀 된데라 미나양 로미심바데 좀 된데지 자도 자단 태비치 아니 로초도 주와 나스고 아이바 딜라 로미심바 로조낭
So then, next verse shows that when you achieve this state, everything that you eat or taste will taste excellent to you. This is in verse 88, where it says, through serving and healing the sick, you will have a broad back, you will be imperturbable. And here the translation I would modify a little bit. The savor of food will be supreme. Says basically the same thing. So here it says that by serving those who are sick and acting as a nurse and so forth, doing that for people who are sick and healing them in that way, then the flesh between your shoulder blades will be full and rounded, and it will be, and the shoulder blades themselves will be smooth and rounded, and then without making any kind of temporary kinds of mistakes.
파주 주와 매바 차차라 파 주와 매바 추와 긴기르바 차주 매바 땜베
So by being steadfast without wavering and being drawn into making little kinds of mistakes in your behavior, then you yourself will remain in your natural condition. And then by giving medicine to those who are sick as well, then you yourself, when you become a universal emperor, will be such that no matter what you eat or have any kind of contact with, it will produce the feelings of great pleasure.
좀 된대지 자단 채비치 아니 고로 쳐도 좋아 난 전에 캐르르 버티 송과를 도시 그들라 로미심
So there's
다 로미심 바로 쳐도 나 추와를 그러와 인자 좀 된대지 자단 채비치 아니 로 쳐도 좋아
So Kedar Rinpoche has said that, explaining this sign, that, for example, the Lord Buddha, Bhagavan Buddha, when even if someone gave him some food that was not tasty, simply by coming into contact with his tongue, it would be transformed into something that was extremely flavorful and tasty.
어제 디라 로미시마 로자나 군에 나르다다 추신갑 전에 소하나 신전에 최단 준비 자와라 토창 최지 우두도 레네 나르다다부 추신갑아 다도 줄세요 다 최단 준비 자와 고좀지 자와 탐제 최단 자와 최단 준비 자와 제와라 토창신 자위 토창신 안에 자와 강제做 최단 준비 제배 최지 아니 우주도 레벨 나와당 그 신나저 따라 dom당 dom예면 냠바 dom예면도 냠바 dom당 꾸이 아니 른도라 소바 예면도 냠배 추신가바다도 주와당.
So then next verse 89 says, by focusing on deeds that accord with dharma, you will have an ushnisha on your head, and your body will also have the symmetry of a banyan tree. Ushnisha refers to the, as the note for this says, like the protuberance or on the top of the head. So the commentary here explains that by being solely focused on activities that accord with the Dharma and taking them as the chief thing that you engage in, your the protuberance on the top of your head will be properly situated, and your body will be like a banyan tree or nyagroda tree in the original here, which is a banyan type, like a banyan tree, in which the breadth and height of it will be equal, so that your entire body will be proportional in that way.
어제 다 되게 우주도